Have you ever had someone say to you, "Did you see that?" And then once you see it, you can't unsee it anymore? This happens lots when Sarah and I are watching TV together. One of us will see something and we'll stop the PVR and go backwards and say, "Look at this guy in the background," or "Look at that building over there," or "Look at that painting on the wall." And then once you see it, of course you see it. Once you pay attention, it's right there and you can't unsee it anymore. But until it's drawn to our attention, sometimes we just miss it. We just don't see it. I read a book a few years ago about relationships and how things work, especially in churches. And this guy was talking about how sometimes our relationships fall into unhealthy patterns. And then he gave 5 examples of unhealthy patterns to look for in other people and hopefully in yourself as well, so you can prevent these things from happening. I've had this list in my sermon folder for years now, and I can't unsee it anymore. So I thought I'd share it with you, and maybe you can see it and then prevent some of these things as well. The author gave 5 ways that we try to control each other that are unhealthy. I'll just run through them really quickly with you here. If you would like more information about these, or if you'd like to talk about them more, email me, put a comment in the video or whatever, and we can go back over them. 5 different ways. Number 1, first one's called the scorekeeper. That seems pretty self-explanatory, right? If you're in a relationship where someone is always saying, "You owe me something," or they're keeping track of all the good things they've done and how many times you have not done something for them or ways you've failed, if they're keeping score, you've got problems, because relationships are never even. Relationships are give and take, but they're never even. And as soon as somebody decides to keep score and make them even, you've got a problem. They're trying to control something, and that's not good. Number 2 is the judge. Judges believe in right and wrong. The problem with judgy people is that most of the time they never think they're wrong. Do you know people like that? They know everything. They never admit they've made a mistake or they could be wrong. They are right about everything. And if you're in a relationship with a judge, you're always going to be judged. You're always going to be wrong, and that's an issue to watch out for. Number 3, the fearmonger. Fearmongers rule things or control things by just keeping everybody scared. I've seen this happen in churches lots of times. Nice, friendly people smile at one another and shake each other's hands, but you know you do not cross that guy, because if you cross him, you're in big trouble, right? Fear keeps people in line, and that's how they control people. Number 4 is called the false hero. I know a guy who promises people anything they want to hear. He will make promises to them that he cannot fulfill. He promises people the world just to get them to like him. He tells them what they want to hear, even if there's no chance in the world he could ever fulfill those things. And then he ends up disappointing people, and then they're mad at him, and then he wonders why he has no friends. When you pretend to be better than you are, when you are a false hero, you will never end up with a good relationship. You can never promise more than you can give and think it's going to work out well. The last one is called the flopper. Have you ever watched soccer and some guy brushes another guy and this guy falls down on the pitch and rolls around like he's been shot, trying to get a penalty on the other team, just exaggerating what happened. He hardly got touched and he acts like he got his jaw broken or something, right? The flopper is always a victim. Have you been in relationships like this where somebody's just always the victim? It's always poor me. Oh, everything works out so bad for me. I'm always getting picked on. Everything is terrible. If you're in relationship with someone who's always the victim, they're trying to control you by their getting your sympathy. They're trying to make you do something for them because they're pretending they can't do anything themselves. So a quick review of the 5 things. Look for the scorekeeper, the judge, the fearmonger, the false hero, and the flopper. Look for those in other people. Look for them in yourself and make sure you're not doing those things to other people. Because here's the thing, when you're scorekeeping or judging or fearmongering or flopping or being a false hero, you are not being real. And relationships can't run on anything that isn't real. And the second problem is you're so focused on yourself. You're trying to control others and make them do what you want them to do, when rather you should be doing something else. You should be trying to serve them and make them better. Romans chapter 12 verse 9 says, love must be sincere. That's the problem with all these other things. They're not sincere. You're not there for others. You're there for yourself. But love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves. That's how we create good relationships. We honor other people. We lift them up. We're sincere with them. We're honest, and we're looking out for their best interest, not just ours. Again, relationships get off the rails in lots of different ways. Those are 5 ways to avoid trying to control others, and 5 things to look for when others are trying to control you. We'll have better relationships when we put all those other things away and when we just try and be sincere and love each other from the heart.